Go.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Questionable Perspective Podcast. This is probably what episode 15, I'm gonna say
16.
16. I'm here with my host, phdjeshua, and we have our very first guest tonight, which is Mr. ShadowAce. May you introduce yourself, sir?
Good evening, everyone. I do appreciate you guys for letting me on the podcast here. Yes, I'm ShadowAce. I'm a tenured Atlanta, Georgia player here. Been competing for over 10 years. Um, and I currently play Jamie and looking forward to Ed coming out next week. Two as well. I do commentating, podcasting, TO. I've done a lot of FTC related activities here in my time, and I'm looking forward to see what we're going to talk about today on this podcast.
Well,
Um,
topics for discussion are going to be some of those lovely changes we've seen in the Ed build that's at the Capcom Cup currently. Then our impressions of Ed and what we hope to see out of him. And then our predictions for the Capcom Cup. Because, good Lord, the first day was quite insane.
Yeah. I was checking out. Only to grasp a few of the matches because I was just working while majority of it was going on, and I think everyone did like 2 matches per group. And I think that's the format going in for day 1, 2, and 3. And then I guess that third day they'll determine which players are going in to the top 16 for both of the groups. So there are a lot of sweaty moments. I will agree. This game being played at its highest level, you get to see everything get put out on the table, all the dirt, all the shenanigans. Like people are trying to win,
yeah,
so they'll do. It's whatever they'll do, whatever it takes. Uh,
it's $1 million on the table, so everybody's gonna pull out all the stops.
Counter picks and
nah,
all.
for sure. It's like we're not playing honest. I mean, if Luke is the one that's gonna get me the $1 million, guess what? I'm playing Luke. If JP is gonna get me that money, I'm playing JP. So I respect the people who may have put those characters to the side and may have trained up the current characters that they're using to try to get in there. But yeah, man, a lot of really great matches. The Capcom Cup is still going on right now, so there's plenty of action over there to check out a bit later on. But as it stands for right now, we were mentioning the changes at the Ed Bill. I know a lot of people thought it was just going to be like a demo thing where, okay, yeah, they have ads so people can just try it out, but people were finding like some some new stuff, and according to all the things that's been found, that feels like a balance patch to me. What's going on? Did that get leaked or something? Like, is that were they not supposed to play on that build or something? Because be it for I think one of the mains, the one I saw because I'm playing Jamie, was that he can now get a drink after just a regular throw.
Yeah, if it's just
And
forward throw.
Yep.
yeah, I was like, yeah, that's kind of strong. That's pretty strong. That's like
I
one of the safer ways to get drinks now. And I'm like, oh,
I guess
bet.
they
Now you
I
got to
guess they're
worry about
saying
me throwing.
that they're balancing it because he has to give up pressure to get that drink.
Yeah. Either you can go for whichever Oki, or you could go for the drink. But 9 times out of 10, we trying to get drunk around here. So,
Wait, hold
if he
on.
get that,
Capcom says that's tea. That's not alcohol.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
He what kind of tea is it? Oolong? What kind of tea is he drinking? I
Herbal
see how's
Grey,
Team House Earl Grey? That's what it is.
Earl Grey with the spiced rum in it.
There it is. Just a little something to give it an extra kick. I understand, but yeah, I think it was that. I think it was something about him being able to get level 2 drinks. I don't know if it was he can go into the next round with level 2 drinks, or that after he does his level 2 super, because when he does his level 2 super, all of his drinks go away. I don't know if he keeps I think he keeps them now after he does level 2, but I wasn't too sure.
Oh
Um,
boy.
Yeah, so I mean, it's little small changes like that that can literally change the whole dynamic of a character. So I would actually consider this a balance patch. And I don't know if Capcom's going to officially state that this is the balance patch with Ed, but those little changes can definitely add up to changing out the whole entire character. Because now
I,
you're going to have people wanting to experiment and go into training mode and just try to look up everything they can. And, oh, maybe this person didn't test this, and then they find something new. So yeah, for the most
I,
part. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
oh no, I was gonna say, by all means, I'm for some of the changes I've seen as a JP player because I'm so tired of everybody complaining about Overdrive, Amnesia. Dear God, the
It
scaling I
it
saw.
it, it, it was
Hold,
ridiculous that he can get a full combo the way he cut off OD and
hold
Amnesia.
on. That move, as strong as it is, and it doesn't always make. I'm not always going to be in a situation where it's going to work in my favor. To be fair, but on the change I saw, the scaling they gave it, I believe, was comparable to perfect parry scaling. Which, if this is all in the final upcoming patch, I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but we pretty much knew that was coming with a lot of the characters. We knew a lot of the nerfs was coming, like the JP, uh, Luke's crouch medium,
Oh
stuff
yeah.
like that. We kind of knew that stuff was coming.
Now
I
one
Oh
of
think
the
yeah, that,
the
yeah.
Zangief EX Lariat into level 3 is kind of
can he do regular lariat? That's what I'm curious about.
No, I think it's only on EX. It's only on. It's only the first hit on EX.
That's
There.
fair.
Yeah, but that's pretty good though for him to be able to combo into a level 3.
About time.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty strong, man. And then yeah, I saw in the video they were comparing Luke's new crouching medium punch that got adjusted. I was like, yo, what do you mean? It doesn't hit full screen anymore? Oh
No.
snap!
People are finally poking at it. I was like, good. I think another one was like Ken had it. I mean, everybody has a throw
yeah.
loop,
His
but
throw loop
Ken's
got nerfed.
was with the dash attacks and all that. Everybody saying those have been nerfed. I
Yeah, 'cause
haven't heard much of
I
anything
think now
else.
he's only +1 on the throw loop thing,
Yeah,
so
and
he
then it
can't
wasn't
just.
like the pushback. Like the pushback looked like it was a bit further too after he threw.
I
Yeah,
think so.
Uh,
so he can't just
okay.
keep looping you with it.
Yeah, you'd have to like dash up. I mean, like he still has it, but it's not as strong as it was. Like it's not as simple. Before he's like, okay, you throw him, slight tap, throw again. Now you kind of have to like dash up to do it, and then at that time you probably will react to it.
Throw out a couple of jabs, you'll catch him.
Mm-hmm. It's like, no, I can't do that no more, my friend.
I mean, overall, from some of the changes we've seen, I think they're pretty fair.
It really just what's the name quality of life changes. I don't think it's a full balance patch. I just think it's like stuff that people have been complaining about. They kind of just gave a little patch to kind of just like tide people over until the big one comes.
I know
Yeah.
because I think this
Mm.
is the patch. Because after Akuma releases, there won't probably be a patch till because I think they're doing it yearly. This will be the yearly patch.
I would
Un-
thought the patch would drop with Akuma, since he's the last character.
I I, th- I think they wanted to do it since with the Capcom Cup ending, starting a new season basically after this. Is the reason they're doing it. So we may not get up unless there's like incredibly terrible bugs or glitches showing up randomly. We'll have about the same going into this year. Once we see all the changes, because we've only seen like I
Just a
think
handful.
not even the
Uh,
tip of the iceberg yet.
just a kid pretty much said she's pretty much still the same. They really didn't touch her too much.
Mm.
Wonderful.
So, so yeah, so I don't think this is like I don't think this is like the balance patch. I think it's like Chris said, it's like the quality of life stuff. Some of the stuff is getting touched up on. Um, but you would think a change like that, especially for Jamie, that does seem like it's a balance, like a new balance patch type of deal here. But I thought it was I also was under the impression that after Akuma came out, then we would get the balance patch. But then again, it wouldn't make sense because he'd still be I mean, he wouldn't really get anything changed anyway. So I'm thinking they're going to do this after Capcom Cup
Yep.
to bring in like you said, like a brand new season, right? So they'll probably do their esports announcements after the finals, and apparently there's supposed to be something that they're going to show at the IGN festival, not like a fan festival or something, or some event over there that they're doing for Street Fighter 6. So they're not going to reveal the stuff there, but they might reveal it at the IGN event. So we'll see.
Well, here's hoping to a change in the format because I know this has been rough on a lot of the players.
Mm. The
Mm-hmm.
biggest
Yes.
change
Yeah.
I the biggest change I would rather see is if you've already qualified, that you shouldn't be allowed to play in any more qualifiers after that.
Well, I
That's
don't
one
see
of the
where it
biggest
doesn't
change.
matter because remember
Well,
during
it
Street.
kind what was the last one when uh Joe Umi Rogan played? And he was already qualified, and then they got the grand finals, and it didn't even matter anymore because the guy already knew, like, I'm going to Capcom Cup because he's already qualified. So even if I win or lose, I'm going. And to me, it kind of defeats the purpose of competition when you like, well, do I need to really play as hard as I want to? Because either way, I'm going anyway.
Well, if I'm not
Yeah, I mean, at
mistaken,
that point, you're just on gatekeeping duty. And I remember, now that I think about it, I do remember that tournament where he did get that far, and he was just taking out players who kind of would have had that chance. But then on the other foot, you look at it as, oh well, that person should have been strong enough to beat him. Well, why couldn't he beat Joe? But yeah, I agree with you, Chris. I don't think I mean, if you already qualified, then your job is done. I don't think you should be able to enter any more qualifiers after you already qualified.
wasn't there
Yeah, that
one
because
year? Wasn't there one year during Street Fighter Five? They, regardless if you already qualified, even if you like it's grand finals, they get you're already qualified. The next runner up pretty much got it, regardless winning or losing that tournament. I'm trying to remember if they did that or not during fives. I think they did for 1 year.
like the runner, the second place, whomever.
Yeah, it went. It would go directly to them. Good lord.
I think so. I think so. Um, but yeah, I don't think they should be able to enter any events after qualifying for one because here's the thing, and also it also affects the seeding of the event too as well. So even though that Evo Umarogan qualified, that next event that he entered, he had a really high seed. So that spot could have potentially went to somebody who didn't qualify. And now you have a one-sided bracket where that person is kind of like based on their strength of the player, they're kind of like guaranteeing themselves to get in the top 8 because there's nobody like really in their path to like really stop them on that because of the seating. But yeah, I do definitely think that should be taken in consideration. Where if you'd already qualified, yeah, you shouldn't be able to enter any more events like that.
Well, I would say if I was Capcom, I would say if you want to enter, if you've already qualified and you want to enter in another event, fine. But once you enter in that event, you have basically relinquished your claim to that victory, and the runner up now has it. So now you're right back in the same spot you were when you entered that last one and won. And I think you would see a lot more players bowing out and not being like, "Well, I just want to play the best players."
Yeah, yeah, I think that'd be
Hmm,
an interesting approach. I mean, that kind of
yeah.
definitely would be like, nah, nah, I ain't gonna sign up. I ain't gonna sign up. On second thought, maybe I'll go ahead and play this other game instead, and yeah, I'll just cheer you guys on or something. Um, but yeah, the format and the seating here is kind of one of the other things I was looking at too as well. Speaking of, we were talking about the Capcom Cup, so how those qualifier events are ran. Like the group draw seating for this year. I know it's year one, so again, there's time for them to like adjust and grow and like reformat how it's going to work out for the new year, and um, maybe that's what their announcement is going to be. Like maybe they'll change up the whole direction on how the qualifiers are going to work for the new year. And this was just the sample or kind of like the first year of them doing it, so they kind of was just like kind of see how it is, because if you're looking at the group brackets on how all of that is laid out, you might look at the pools and be like, yo, this pool is kind of crazy. But you look at the pool next to it and it's like, who are these players? I know that's been like kind of like the tail of the tape for last past couple of the weeks here, where one group just looking completely ridiculously strong and then another group didn't look like that. Um,
So
but
you thinking they
it,
should go back to the point system?
Yeah.
I do think so. I think that would definitely help out the seating for the events to make it a little bit more balanced. Otherwise, there's no reason why you should have two Capcom Cup champion and an Evil champion in the same pool versus
Mm-hmm.
this other pool where those guys are just primarily online players. It didn't add up for me. So again, still year one. They still got time to make something change there, and we'll see. We'll see what kind of plans they got for the future on that.
Yeah.
Well, some of this is still lingering from the COVID era, so it's understandable why they kept the format around, but hopefully, as we said, or as you said, we'll get the
I
better
don't know because some people are saying
changes.
they should do away with the World Warrior events. I'm not sure how that will. I don't know how you would really get rid of those events like that.
So
I
those
think.
those those are okay. So that is kind of like a different can of worms.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean when I say that is that because they have those little qualifier events or whatever, they have like a little timetable on when the finals are going to be. So, this certain amount of player gets this many points, and they get to compete into the finals. And then whomever wins the World Warrior event, they're the ones that qualify. However, you had these premier events. I think with some of them being offline, and they just had to win one event. Versus another one, you going through a whole entire circuit just to qualify for a spot when all you got to do is go to this premier event, win it, and then you're good.
Yeah,
Like
because
I don't, yeah,
Ending
that's like
Walker
nah.
was a good example of like that shenanigans. That kid was it towards in the last season of Street Fighter Five. He just tore through like what was it 5, 6 events before the finals of the World Warrior for his region. Dear God.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, he went on a little tear there, man. And then Walker was definitely one of the players for sure to check out. I think he also brought in a new era of players just because of how young he was and how he was able to just come in and just dominate, man, with his showing him the power, the true power of Ed. This is what Ed can do at the highest level. He's able to compete with all of these other characters, and it was nice. It was really nice to see that. As a fellow Ed, I was like, oh man, this is what this character can really do when you unlock all of the potential.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So Andy Walker, he's there. He has the quote unquote. He's in the death bracket or the death pool where with was it Mena, Kaba,
Kaba Angry
and
Bird,
yeah,
Lesher
and Angry Bird.
Mena. It it
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
is it is
yeah,
nuts
that would not want to be in that bracket.
because that's like 3 people. Let's see, 3 people. No, it's Kaba Angry Bird, Mena. Hang on, sorry, Kaba, Enderwalker, Angry Bird, Mena. It's like 4 people I want to see like potentially take all of this or one bracket alone, and it's just like mind numbing just to see the. I guess we kind of went into the Capcom stuff, not Capcom Cup now. I sat down and watched a couple of that, like Minna versus Ending Walker, Ryu versus Luke. Oh my god.
Like he didn't pull the Blanca out.
No, it was, dude, like, it was nail biting how close it was. Just whoever got the drive rush light or light jab almost took the rounds each time. It was nuts. So hard to describe.
Well, he has been training with Problem X, so.
And he's the only Ryu. He's the only one playing Ryu, and I'm like, I hate that everybody's been downplaying him. I'm like, Ryu may not be like Ken with crazy mix-ups, but I'm like, he's got the damage. That's the thing. You get hit by a raw donkey kick into something. Oh my god.
Yeah, he Ryu. I mean, I think I'm probably sure you've heard this numerous times where anyone in this game can compete. And I think this is probably one of the more balanced vanilla games for Street Fighter. I would say just in terms. I mean, of course, there's a clear definition of your. Every game is going to have its top tier, its mid tier, and its low tier, right? So that formula. But I think in this game, it's to a point where if you're that character specialist, you can take that character to that level, but it's just going to require way more work. And I'll give you an example. So we saw I mean there was Hibiki. Hibiki easily is one of the best Lily players on earth. Hands down. This guy just makes I mean the way he plays the character like makes her look completely different than what other people are doing with that character. We saw random with Manon. A lot of people were sleeping on Manon
Mm-hmm.
later on, and then what's interesting is a lot of people were complaining about the character at first because I guess she was brand new, and it's like, oh, it's really cheap. She could get 5 medals, and she can end the round in 10 seconds and all this other stuff. But here's the thing, she has to work to get those medals, and if she doesn't have them, it's kind of a rough time for her. But the fact that she keeps her medals for the next round. I think she would be extremely weak if she wasn't able to keep keep medals there. But the fact that that particular person was able to take a character like that, those players are able to use those characters at a certain level just goes to show the amount of dedication that players are putting in to try to make it work. Yeah, and then you see the culmination of all of that at Capcom Cup. We see a variety of different characters. Not all of them are there, unfortunately. I think there was like a little mean thing someone did of all the characters that weren't going to be at Capcom Cup, but it's a clear definition that with that dedication they're able to compete at the level. But I know it just takes a certain breed of player to make something like that work, which is why. And then Walker saw the success he did when he picked up Ed and just started dominating with that character. And he said he's going to take a look at Ed too in Street Fighter 6. So I guess here's the 7 more years of and then Walker doing work then. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, he's young. He has plenty of time, for sure. To in his FGC career, he's like, yeah, we're just getting started, here. So yeah, I'm very excited to see what he does, with that particular character. But I mean, I think that separates. That's what puts certain players in different tiers, is that they are willing to go the extra mile to try to research and make sure that they could compete at a certain level there. And it's just the amount of work and grind that you do. I know with us older players, we may not have that much time, or our interest may not be like that to get to that level, but we can still, try to hold our own. But but we know what it could take. We know what it takes to get to that level. We have to grind and actually study and sit down with the game and learn things that you probably might not see. We gotta learn frame data. We gotta learn what to do in this specific situation. We gotta learn about spacing. So yeah, just a couple of things there in regards to those characters being in at Capcom Cup in those groups.
Well, I have a question for you, ShadowAce.
Mm.
Because I've had this theory, and I told Jeshua the same thing. I feel like Capcom separated the characters and basically where you have to rank up each character. I feel like they want players to go back to being character specialists. That's why they separated them like that, where you just can't just because you got one character, you got the master doesn't mean all the characters are there. Like they want people to be character specialists to kind of spice up the the tournament scene where you're just not seeing the same characters over and over and over again. I don't know. What would your thoughts be on that?
I agree. I agree. I think this time it does allow for a little bit for more creativity and play styles and experimentation with those characters. You probably know someone. I guarantee every player knows at least 2 or 3 people that may have like 4 or 5 characters at master rank already, and they may say like, "Oh, well, this character doesn't fit me, so let me go to this next character. I can get this character to master rank. That was fun. Let me try this character." It's just always it's just very unique how they brought the system back from Street Fighter 4, which is great. I think yeah, it does let you know how much time and effort and energy you put into trying to play the character to get them at that level. I would like a more defining feature as far as rank goes.
Are you
Because I
talking
think
about placements?
yeah, because I think once you hit master, you can't D rank. Like you can't go back down. I mean, your MR just goes down, but you can't actually D rank once
Yeah,
you
you.
hit master.
I think that's
Yeah.
fair. You've earned that. You went through the full on grind.
Well, we're not gonna really say that.
Hey, listen,
Nah, 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 nah.
I
Cause
think
I
some
that's
think
a
that'll
people,
little
look
bit
some
perfect.
fair.
because I know because when I ranked up on my PC and I played Ryu for the first time, when I did my placements, I ranked at Diamond 5
Now,
with
that's just
Ryu.
a placement test, then, that needs adjustment, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, because because I played Jury on PlayStation and PC. The PlayStation side, I won every single placement match, and it put me in Platinum 2. When I did the PC, I lost one match, and it put me in Diamond 2.
I think it
And I'm
considers
like,
your other characters, too, or something.
no, she was the first one I placed
Huh.
with.
It must be
That's
the
why I
way
said
you did it, then.
I don't understand how the placement system works. Because then after that, like my Ryu was Diamond 5, my Minona was a Diamond 1. It's like it took Jury's placement and then extrapolated it across all the other characters I played. Cause I'm like, my Ryu is nowhere near a Diamond 5 Ryu. So I don't really understand how they're calculating like placements. But I can understand why people get kind of bored with the game because if you play super high at the beginning of the game, if you grinded that game probably for like the 2 weeks, you probably hit master within 2 weeks with that character. And it's like, well, like Shadow Ace was saying, I'm already at master and I can't D rank and I can't really, I can't go down anymore. So all I can do is just play other masters. And a lot of people just once they hit master rank, they just start playing casuals because they don't really care about the MR system. So they do kind of need to tweak that a little bit more to kind of put more stakes into being a master, or make more levels where it's grandmaster or something.
Well,
Yeah, that's
remember,
one thing I will give credit to with Street Fighter 5 is that they did have those, separate titles. Well, they had more titles there, Grandmaster. Then I guess they patched it in. No, Grandmaster got patched in because I remember doing Vanilla, it just went to Master. Then they patched in Grandmaster. Then they did later on they
Warlord.
did Ultimate, yeah, and then Warlord. So yeah, so eventually those titles came down the line once you hit a certain amount of points. But again, there was no threat of deranking. So just imagine you hit Ultimate Grandmaster, you could take a break for the game and just use and lose 20 matches in a row. You still keep your title. That's how it is in this game right here. Because I've seen some like very very low level MR players, but I think the way they were playing is like, okay, I hit master, I accomplished it, we done. Not really interested in legend rank because legend rank resets. It resets every season or so. I guess what's considered a ranking season for this, like 2 months or something, three months,
I
Yeah.
thought it was
every
like
three
three
every three
months.
months. Yeah, so it's like, okay, if it resets, if I get to legend, it resets. Now I have to go back to get legend again. Now I got to go back. It resets again. Now I have to go back to get legend again. And again, it's just a one title type of difference. And it doesn't really, you could take all of that experience that you've been gaining, like for the MR, and it resets. It goes back to zero. So whichever how many points you need to get to legend rank. Say I guess what is it? The base is like 1500 MR, and you get
Mm-hmm.
like 1700. You get legend rank, and 3 months later you were sitting at 1800. Well, guess what? Since the rank reset, you got to go back down to 1500. So those 300 points kind of went down the drain. I feel like you earned those hard matches for the 300 points. You should be able to keep whichever MR, but just raise the bar and then like introduce new titles. So that way it can give people an incentive to keep playing. Because I remember someone was like, "Oh dang, I was so close to legend, and it reset, and now I gotta just do this whole thing over again." And they didn't want to play anymore. So yeah, I don't know if if anybody, if they're listening to this, Capcom or something, hey, they might have to tweak that rank system, because I think even before you start playing, it asks you a question about how confident you are in your skills as a player. Like, I think it's like, are you a beginner, intermediate, advanced, or something like that? And
Mm-hmm.
I think what it is, if you answered advanced, that's how they placed you on your matches. So if you answered like I'm a beginner, they'll take it easy on you for placements.
Mhm.
Now this is just me. I think the ranking, just the way the rank's done, is fair. Especially with Street Fighter Six was new, a lot of new people come in. So without the placement matches, the way it's built up, I think it's fair. But and certain ranks resetting each season, I think is perfect. But as y'all said, as suggested, new titles need to be added, which I think is fair. Like unique titles that, hey, this one's what, Legend, next one's like Warlord. I think that would be really cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, because not all masters are the same.
Not are all created equal.
No, because
Yeah.
I've beat some master rank players. So I'm like, I'm not exactly, and it's like, how are you? I was sitting there like, well, how are you master rank? Because I'm, I'm not saying I'm a diamond, a platinum player, and I'm like, I'm just walking the dog with you. But you're a master rank player though.
Yeah, it's like, again, like we were saying, like once you hit the master rank, like what else is there? What else is there? Yeah, they had to actually introduce a new rank just for people to get a reason for them to continue to play. Because remember, Legend got patched in.
Yep.
First few months of the
Yeah,
games, once you hit Master, that was it. But I think because a lot of people kind of just got the Master and just stopped, it's like, dang man, we need to find a way to get people to play ranked a bit more. Oh, let's introduce a brand new title and call it Legend, and make it so once you get the Legend, you'll be a legend, but only for 3 months. Because guess what, you gotta do it again. You gotta reset. We're gonna reset, and you gotta do it all over again.
yeah.
Oh man,
They
that
took
sounds like fun.
they took the MK ranking system for that one.
Which is
Because
perfect.
MK does the same thing where the whole season you can rank up, you can get to Elder God, you can get to the highest ranks, and then once the season starts, it starts you all the way over at the beginning,
Hmm.
and you have to climb it again.
Dang.
That might be
That
worth doing if Capcom decides to do it.
No, that would be a bad idea for Street Fighter, because that if you reset everybody's rank where everybody starts over at the bottom again, and you have to grind your way back to master, that means you would be on the same level as a Punk or a Minna or something like. You will run into those kind of players.
Well, hey, it would
That
test your grit and see if you learned anything.
mm,
Maybe, maybe not. It's kind of a to a point, but
yeah.
now let's get back to our Capcom Cup groups real fast. All right, and then we'll move on to Mr. Ed, our impressions and such. All right, who do y'all believe is going to take this? ShadowAce, start us off.
Uh, I'm just basing this off of what I saw yesterday. Angry Bird went 0-2. He's 0-2 in his group so far. The dude, the player that won Evo is 0-2 currently in his pool, and it's Kaba and Mena are the ones who have the highest win rate right now in that pool. That alone told me that anything can happen right now. Mr. Crimson won the LCQ. He made it into his bracket. He is now 1-1. I would think he would. I thought he was going to go into his pool and sweep.
Wait, you mean Problem
Yeah,
X? What,
excuse me, Problem X. I'm sorry, Problem X. Yeah, because he's playing Blanca. Yeah, he is now 1-1 in his pool. Now, Japim, he's a South African DJ player from South Africa, and he did a really really good upset against Travis Styles, and he won his match. So basically, what I'm getting at is that it's a toss up. No, I don't know what can happen. It could go either way. So if I had to make a pick, just based off of the energy, just from day one, because day two is going on right now, but um, I want to see, I want to see upsets. I want to see the underdog. I want to see a player start their legacy, start their story. I don't want to see the same names that I've been seeing for the last past 7 and 10 years, win. I want a brand new player that I guess they're just picking up this game for the first time, or they just haven't been as prominent as they were in previous Street Fighter titles, and now they've trained and grinded their way all the way to Capcom Cup. I want that particular player to win. So I don't have a name, unfortunately, but I do want to vote for the underdog, and that's it. That's all I got.
what about you, Mr. Chris?
I'm in the same camp as Shadow. I want to see a new face, a new player rise up and kind of just come out of nowhere, because that's what makes it interesting. Like you said, like if you just see it's the same players over and over and over again, it's kind of like, yeah, okay, whatever. I don't really want to watch this live. I'll just watch this on a replay. But when you have that underdog that's in there and they're just taking players out left and right and people don't even expect it, that makes it, people want to watch that. That makes it exciting. But if I had to pick one, I once again me and ShadowAce in the same boat. If Angry Bird is playing like he was playing when he was at Evo, and Evo he was playing out of his mind. I can't see anybody beating him. Just honestly. But like I said, I would rather see a new player come up to just kind of spice up the faces and stuff.
It's understandable. Now, there's a newcomer that I've been keeping my eye on as a Dawson player. I looked up some stuff about him. Shaka 22. He's he's on my underdog card. I think he can do well. He is. I've seen all these other names I've kind of seen here and there. I mean, we all have our obvious picks, but Shaka 22 is I'd say my underdog pick to win because he's a pretty impressive Dawson. And the only other like big Dawson player you even have within this whole thing is Mr. Crimson. And I mean, we've all seen Mr. Crimson. He's no slouch.
Okay, now that you mentioned that name, now I kind of remember a name I want to see up there, and it's Dookie. Dookie is a Rashid player.
Hey,
He
yep.
he beat Mr. Crimson pretty badly. Pretty badly. I mean, granted, Rashid and Rashid versus Dawson isn't fun for Dawson, but here you have the apex of Dawson players, getting put in situations where they're fighting for their life against this turbulent character that's just doing all types of win nonsense and left right mix ups and just going crazy, and people's like, yo, who is this Dookie guy, or and his name is Dook IE. So it's
Yeah.
probably pronounced. It may actually be pronounced different. So this is no disrespect to the way the name is, but that's how I'm reading it as. So
The
I
announcers are calling
apologize.
him Dookie, so I think it might be
I'm
like Doki, but
yeah, maybe Dokei or something like that. But I'm he would have to actually, I guess, correct the whole world and say, hey, this is how you actually pronounce my name. But I guess like the chat and people have just been saying, oh, there's that Dookie player. And like, what? Wait a minute, repeat that. Say that again. It- I was like, okay, Duque, or the Duke. That's another one. I just like that. That'll be the safer bet. The Duke, the Dukester himself. But yeah, that kind of would be one of my other picks I would have here, simply because like Rashid is a character that is really, really underrated, I would say. Um, I actually was like watching like some early tier lists of Rashid, and people had him either mid or low, and I'm like, Rashid, a character with so much mix and potential, and has one of the best level twos in the game as that position? Nah, I don't see it. But we got a couple of Rashids in Capcom Cup, and we'll see what they do.
I just think a lot of people haven't like touched Rashid that much, and the people that have are just not sandbagging, but they're picking him for specific matchups, because if Rashid starts going, if it gets the momentum going, that's game. Good luck, have fun. Press a button, you die. Block, you die. So you have to make a choice.
Hmm. You got to make an executive decision if you want to press a button during his pressure. And if it works out for you, it works out. But if it doesn't, oh, you hitting this combo, you knock down, and now we got to guess again.
Oh man, let's see. But well, that'll be it for that. Now on to our last bit. Mr. Ed himself, who will be coming out next week, if I'm not mistaken. It is Tuesday,
This is Beat
Yep.
Square.
but
Beat
that might
Square
be
Station.
Wednesday night or something. I mean Monday night, I will say. Excuse me, folks. But ShadowAce, you and I we're both Ed
Seriously?
players.
I'm not interested in whatever
so
you're pitching.
we'll start with Mr.
You really want me to punch a hole
Chris
through
here.
you?
What are your thoughts
So,
on it, since you don't have
Who are you?
any bias?
You need to
towards this
learn to stop
character?
pissing me off!
He looks completely different from how he was in Street.
I knew there'd be more of you.
And I actually like the Once you have
Let's go! Ring the bell! I'd be scared too.
what I thought she was gonna be, which I kind of figured she was gonna be kind of similar. But I don't. It's just hard to say. I don't like how she played, and just like her whole moveset. It's just like when I started playing, when I was thinking around with her, I'm like, I don't like this character. Like I'm not having fun playing this character. I was just like, I'm kind of bored with this character.
Seriously?
And it was only like
I'm not interested in whatever you're pitching.
And I just
You really want me to punch a hole through you?
There wasn't anything there to keep
Just
me
who
there.
are you?
Man, I just want to play.
You
like,
need to learn to stop pissing
like,
me off!
I'm like, I want to play. He looks fun. He looked like he's a pretty good
I
character.
knew there'd be more of you.
He looked
Let's go! Ring the bell!
I'm those really like side characters.
I'd be scared too.
Hold on, yeah, she's not foolish. She's just calm. Never
Hope you'll put up a fight. Wasting my time. Time's over! Never underestimate me! One more! You could say I have potential.
Type of play style, but Fawn was a little bit stronger. The point is why you didn't want to stick with him. But as far as Ed goes with me,
This is Beat Square.
the character
Beat
just
Square
looks
Station.
absolutely amazing. Very technical, very tricky play style and movement. I think there's going to be a lot of variety.
Seriously?
I think you can tell. the
I'm
difference
not
between
interested in whatever you're
Ed player
pitching.
and that Ed player.
You
I know a lot of
really
people
want me to
wanna pick
punch
them
a
up
hole through you?
for a few weeks.
So, just
Question
who are
is,
you?
Are they going to stick with
You
it?
need to learn
know,
to stop
are
pissing
they-
me off!
I know I'm playing it regardless if he's good or not.
I knew there'd be more of you.
I did that.
Let's go! Ring the bell! I'd be scared too.
potential.
One character every 3 or 4 months is kind of a long wait time. But at least I think they'll lay down. I think it'll be better in season 2, for sure, when they do decide to go with that. But as far as Ed is
This is
concerned,
Beat Square.
yeah, I
Beat
like his
Square
entire
Station.
kit. I like his design. Turn him into a pure boxer type, and incorporating some of his moves from his old Street Fighter V moveset is really strong too. So I'll feel at home with that. It's just gonna take some time to get used to him because I ended up I started out playing Lily, and then over time I just didn't the character just I just didn't want to work with the character anymore, and I was like, nah, this character doesn't really like fit the playstyle that I want. I'm used to aggressive like boxing, like in and out type of style, and I picked up a grappler, so it didn't work out for me. So I kind of wanted to get another character that kind of played in a way similar. Like, well, what's a character that could kind of play the closest to Ed? What isn't there an actual drunken boxer in the game? I was like, yo, Jamie, right? Yeah. All right, let me try Jamie. So I picked up Jamie, used him for a bit, and I said, okay, I kind of enjoying Jamie, even though he's one of the worst characters in the game. And I still tried to make him work, and it kind of got me used to the engine and the system of how Six is working. So it was good practice, setting up for Ed's arrival. So I'm excited to see what I can try to do with the character next week. And well, what about you, Sir Joshua? How you feel about the character about Ed?
Well, to tag on what you said about Akuma, no matter what, Akuma is great. No matter what, even in other games like Tekken 7, his kit is just it just works. Even like with another example, Street Fighter 5, stupidly strong. And I think it wasn't until like the last season they actually touched him, and even when I say touch him, like they've nerfed him so many times, and he's just like still here, still good. But man, on Ed, this is a dream come true. I wished on a monkey paw, and the finger didn't curl this time. Like Ed just has everything he needed. Finally, like being like, I would say the true heir to Balrog's boxing style, being in and out with the dashes they gave him. The projectile game he has is going to be, for some characters, it's going to be very hard to handle, because I think he'll be a lot better in the Guile matchup now. Because back in the day of Street Fighter V, I hated that matchup so much. Like trying to use the V reversal, then they like nerfed it. I was like, that was such a terrible matchup for me personally. But as you said, they gave him his stuff in 5, but they didn't give him the one thing he needed. That was this crouching medium kick to actually connect where it hits like it was supposed to. That thing was shallow as hell. His leg was going through people and still didn't work. That's my only gripe on that. But I mean, Ed, just with all the proper flickers now and everything, like, God bless Street Fighter Cross Tekken, still doing work to this day from the grave. Them giving him that stuff from like Steve, just, and like when I started with Street Fighter 6, I'm like, like, I mean, I went to Luke after, because Ed just, I loved Ed, but like Ed just couldn't do it. Luke really was doing it for me in Street Fighter 5, but it's like, I'd say it was too late at the end of Street Fighter 5 for me to like really do anything, because that game just was so weird to me. Street Fighter 6 is home. Like, everything works. The system, I love the system mechanics. And whenever to JP was an archetype I've never really played before. So that there's definitely been a learning experience with him, because I'll do some dumb stuff with him that works, and then some stuff it does not work. But that's just how it goes with learning Street Fighter 6. But I think some of the stuff I've learned with JP, I can definitely take over to Ed because Ed just looks like he has so much freedom now with just combos you can do, being able just to like throw out the psycho strings, bring people in or whatever. It is just I could go on, but I don't want to go on forever. But I
But
say
I did.
I go ahead.
I did have a question about it since y'all are Ed players. Did Street Fighter Five? Did he have that move where he could charge the psycho strings?
Yeah, he could do an aerial and ground.
Okay, I thought that was something new they added to him.
No, that was his V skill. Then there was
Okay.
another one. He did like a boxing dash. It's kind of weird. Or was it counter? I can't remember.
About the feints or like the
Yeah, I think it was.
the little like a
Yeah, it was
dash.
V. Yeah, the V skill 2. Wasn't that the counter or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah. That move. Yeah, that was like for projectiles. Like that little sway he does, and then he does a punch after it from 5. But in 6, I think now they got it where he has the sway dash, but he could dash forward and back. So I'm thinking like that'll make his walk speed a bit slower because I think they want you to use that type of movement to try to get your mix in. So from his walk speed, from what I was looking at, it did look kind of average. But again, yeah, got a few more days to get the hands on them and then just lab them up from there.
Mm, And was I
Yeah.
did have another question. Was he able to change the speed of his the V skill, the purple ball?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I noticed that in the trailer, he could either throw it slow or he could throw it fast.
Hmm.
You're not gonna like it when when people start using that.
Yeah, I think the only difference is now that it's just a part of your base meter. So if you commit to just using the level 2, there's no super. So there's no super behind it. That's his actual meter to use that move. So I want to think it's more of like a combo extension or like extended pressure, but it's not gonna be as scary because he doesn't have super behind it. Whereas in Street Fighter 5, when he threw it out and he had super meter, there was the threat of you if you get hit by it, you still have a chance to get comboed into super for even more damage. So but and this is just day zero impressions. I'm like, I don't think it's gonna be as strong as it looks. I think it's just gonna be an extension for like the combo for combos, but that's kind of it. But if you just throw it out raw, because I think it's only like 5 hits. It's not 7 hits like it is in Street Fighter 5. Um, and I don't think the hit stun for it works the same either. Because I know that in 5, when you got hit with it, it kind of pushed you back if you dashed into them. So I don't know how it's going to work in this game. But again, that's just something that'll have to be lab. But ultimately, I don't think level 2 is going to be as strong as it looks. It's just going to be like if you hit confirm into it, yeah, you're getting your good damage, but it's not going to work the same as it did in 5, simply because you don't have the super to put behind it for even more damage.
And then he has he has an invincible DP,
Yep.
which
If
he
you
can
spend the bar.
which he can combo and stand off of.
Hmm. Yeah, he has different versions of his DP now, so I think that'll be interesting. Um, and yeah, I think you still have to charge to get the snatcher. I think someone was doing a test on how his cycle knuckle would work, and it's like, oh well, you can just DI it. I was like, well, yeah, I know it looks cool, but it does have an armor on it, so I'm thinking maybe if you can catch a heavy, you could kind of like get the cycle knuckle off of there. But again, these are just situations where you just have to go into the lab and practice and see what can be done with the character. And ultimately, if people like the character, they'll stick with him. But if it doesn't work out for them, there's always other characters, or they can just wait until Kuma or season 2 drops. That's that's the beauty of the game. You always have an option of going back to somebody else if it doesn't work out for you.
So, what would you use Psycho Knuckle with it when you kind of like mid range when you kind of get a read on them throwing a fireball?
Yeah, I would say if it's like depending on how fast um the full charge is, because I think you can feint. I think you can feint the knuckle. So I could probably do something to have them bait out, and they try to like react to me. Um, I would use it. I would actually use it as a spacing tool. Like if I'm like kind of mid range and they like I see them throwing out a heavy, I can probably go for it. Um, or I can like mix in with like the dashes. I could dash forward, dash back, and then maybe do knuckle. It's just certain situations that I have to play out into my head or actually deal with and play in order to get a better idea of how I would use the move. But that move was kind of like my go-to in Street Fighter Five. I really did like Psycho Knuckle, even though people it got me in trouble in a lot of matches, but it's still one of my more favorite moves to use. But again, he comes out next week. We'll see what happens with the character. I think Capcom did a really great job on redesigning his entire kit. And if future characters come back for five, like say they bring back Nakali, say they bring back Nakali, but he gets a complete overhaul. They could actually do that. I actually have faith that they'll actually, if they do decide to bring back Nakali in the future, they're going to redesign him completely. He's not going to play the same as he did in five. I'm have confidence that they're going to retool his entire kit because that's what they did. That's what they did with Rashid and Ed so far. They still have like their moves from five, but they kind of like got them retooled. And I think that's if they decide to bring the Kali back, that's how they would do it. They'll just he'll have some of his moves, but they'll be completely different.
They won't bring him back. They're gonna bring back the greatest character of them all, the president of the world. G.
You see, you can see G coming back.
Yes. And
Okay.
man, the his toolkit is just insane alone.
Okay.
What they
I can
could
see
do
that.
with
I
him.
can see a lot. Yeah, there's a lot you could really do with the character. He probably will have pick up a piece of dirt or a piece of the earth and throw it at you or something. Yeah. As a
Don't give him
projectile or
ideas.
something. You know. And then
Don't-
he just like he every time he grabs somebody, he says a speech, and you let him. Or he has like a president meter or something, and if your president meter gets full, then that's where he can go into those little dashes and all that stuff. So kind of like how Manon's medals work, or like Windstock, Lily Windstock. You could just have him just talk, and every time he talks, he gains meter.
Yep.
And when he gets full metal, and when it was full, he'll get armor or something like that. So yeah, we'll see how they do though. We'll see.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm still
definitely.
holding out hope for Scott. So
I
We'll
let
see. It's
that
a
boat.
chance.
I let that boat sail a long time ago.
I think if they bring him back and they retool him, like he would fit in perfectly in this game because Drive Rush fixes a lot of his mobility issues. Uh, as a the game you can zone in this game, but it's not like oppressive zoning, so people wouldn't complain about it. But if you took I would probably give him his Angry Scar V skill. I would give him that. I would make Tiger Knee plus and allow him to at least have some kind of Oki situation off his DP if I had to change some things about him. And then just give him all the good stuff he had from Street Fighter 4 and the stuff he had in Street Fighter 5 that worked and just blend it, basically do like the same thing they did with Ed, just rebuild him from the ground up instead of just trying to plop him into a game where he's a zoning character in an anti-zoning game. And I think that was why he was so ineffective in 5.
Mm. Make him throw a tiger, an actual tiger. Make the tiger a part of his move set.
Listen, we don't
Yep.
need that Tekken 7 shenanigans, please. Please no. The real tiger shots.
But I would touch on something that ShadowAce said when he was talking about Aki. Like he
Mm-hmm.
was saying that she's technical, and that might be why a lot of people didn't want to play. I'm like, Ed looks technical, but he looks technical in a way that you would want to learn how to play this character. She was technical in a way that you don't really want to learn how to play her. It's like, well, I can just go play another character and get the same amount of damage, and I can actually be aggressive instead of kind of having to set up these little traps and throw poison bubbles and all that stuff. I can actually do what I kind of want. 'Cause to me, in this game favors aggression more so than just you trying to zone. And that was say I would look at Ed and I'm like, it fits more with what I would want to do. Like I want to be aggressive. I want to be in your face. I don't want to really be setting up zoning traps and stuff like that. Like I just want to apply my offensive game and force you to do stuff.
Well, I think we're all in agreement on that. We'll see how Ed does. That is going to be it for us, folks. Y'all have any final thoughts, gentlemen, before we close this
No,
out?
now ShadowAce, you got any final thoughts?
Oh yeah, wanted to thankfully thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to be on your show. For sure, looking forward to listening to VOD, video on demand, because that's kind of what I do when I'm working. So I want to listen to this episode and plus go back to listen to the other episode of your podcast. So there's good, the good Sir Jeshua. If you don't mind when this is available, send me that link,
Oh, will
and
do.
that'll help me get me through some of this work.
Will
But
do, sir.
yeah, yeah. But
And
once
and
again,
and you got to push the max mode.
no, for
That's
sure,
right.
man. Max mode is definitely coming up within the next 4 weeks. We got 4 more weeks until max mode. Hopefully I can see some of the making crew down there.
Oh, I'll
Plenty
be
of
there.
good plenty of good spots in the area to grab a bite, grab some drinks, and just fellowship and play some games, man. Can't wait to see you guys up there. Registration is still open right now. If you want to check out Max Mode, hit up on X or Twitter.com, data FGC. You can search for that. The sign up link is in that particular page. If you want to follow me on the Twitters, you can follow me at Mind of Shadow Ace on there as well. I post updates on when events and things of that nature that I'm working on. And yeah, again, thank you all so much for having me on the show, and look forward to if I do get invited back. I look forward to speaking with you guys again.
Definitely.
And I already got my hotel for Maximo. I just got to go ahead and pay for my registration. That's pretty much it.
All right, sounds like a plan. We'll run some sets.
I
All
can't.
right.
Y'all actually got me to rebuy Street Fighter 5 with a side turn.
Oh, you poor
Hey,
man. You poor
he's
man.
going he, he's going down that journey. He's going down
Oh,
that rabbit hole. I appreciate it.
Like, I'm surprised it's still people playing rank mode.
yeah. All right, folks. That's going to be it for us. Definitely check out Max Mode. Check out Mr. ShadowAce. And I believe it's at ShadowAce on
Uh,
X.
at Mine of Shadowy. Mm-hmm.
All right. I'll be sure to put that in the description. But, folks, y'all have a great one.